This presentation explores ancient beliefs surrounding death and the afterlife. The concepts discussed are historical and mythological in nature. What if, at the precise moment of your death, your entire life was judged not by your faith, not by your prayers, but by the physical weight of your heart? Imagine a silent cosmic courtroom where your heart, the very vessel of your emotions, your secrets, and your intentions, is carefully lifted from your chest and placed on one side of a golden scale. On the other side, a single pure white feather, the feather of Ma'at, the embodiment of truth, order, and cosmic justice. If your heart is lighter than the feather, you are granted eternal life, a paradise beyond imagination. But if your heart, heavy with greed, deceit, and cruelty, tips the scale, you are not sent to a fiery hell. Your fate is something far more immediate and far more final. You are fed, piece by piece, to a creature lurking in the shadows of the courtroom, a nightmare chimera with the head of a crocodile, the torso of a lion, and the hindquarters of a hippopotamus, a beast known only as the devourer of the dead. And once she consumes your heart, your soul, your very existence is extinguished forever. There is no second chance, no reincarnation, just nothing, oblivion. This wasn't some abstract philosophical concept. For the ancient Egyptians, this was the ultimate reality, a final terrifying audit at the end of all things. And presiding over this entire dreadful ceremony was a single silent God, the one who meets you at the threshold of the afterlife, the one who guides your trembling soul into the hall of judgment, the one whose steady dark hands place your heart onto the scale, a God with the lean black body of a man and the watchful head of a jackal. His name is Anubis, and the question that haunted every person in the ancient world's greatest civilization was this: how do you pass his test? How do you cheat the devourer and win eternity? The answer is a journey into the heart of the Egyptian underworld, a world of magic, monsters, and a complex legal system for the dead, more intricate than any on earth. To understand Anubis is to understand that for the Egyptians, death wasn't an end. It was a transition, a dangerous, perilous journey through a shadowy realm called the Duat. The Duat was a twisted mirror of the living world, filled with gates guarded by fire-breathing serpents, lakes of flame, and demons bent on destroying the souls of the dead. It was a place where you could get lost forever, your soul wandering in darkness for eternity. You couldn't make this journey alone. You needed a guide, a protector, a psychopomp, a conductor of souls. You needed Anubis. His presence was the first thing you'd recognize after your last breath. He was the gatekeeper, the liminal deity who existed in the space between here and there, the living and the dead. But why a jackal? Why would the Egyptians choose this wild, canine scavenger as their most sacred guide? The answer lies on the sun-scorched edges of the Nile Valley, in the twilight where the desert sands meet the fertile black earth. Egyptians would bury their dead on the western banks of the Nile, the land of the setting sun, and at dusk they would see packs of wild jackals prowling the edges of the necropolis, the great cities of the dead. Their haunting cries would echo through the tombs, but they weren't seen as defilers. They were seen as guardians, natural protectors of the sacred burial grounds. They were creatures of the borderlands, moving silently between the world of human settlement and the vast, chaotic wilderness of the desert. In the same way, Anubis moved between the world of the living and the infinite, unknowable wilderness of death. The black color of his skin wasn't a symbol of evil. It was the color of the rich, fertile silt left by the Nile's flood, a symbol of regeneration and new life. It was the color of a corpse after the embalming process, the transformation from decaying flesh into an eternal vessel. Anubis was not a god of death. He was the god of dying well. He was the master of the process that made eternal life possible. Before Osiris rose to become the king of the underworld, Anubis reigned supreme. He was one of the oldest gods in the Egyptian pantheon, an ancient, primordial force who understood the mysteries of the grave better than any other. His authority was absolute, but his most famous role, the one that cemented his legacy for 3,000 years, came from an act of divine loyalty and incredible magic. It began with the first murder. The benevolent god King Osiris, who ruled the world, was betrayed and killed by his jealous brother, Set. Set, the god of chaos and the desert, dismembered Osiris's body into 14 pieces and scattered them across the length of Egypt. It was a crime designed not just to kill a king, but to erase him from existence, to deny him any chance of an afterlife. In many versions of the myth, it was Anubis, the loyal adopted son of Osiris, who undertook the grim task of finding the scattered pieces. With the help of Osiris's wife Isis, he located every part of the slain god. And then he performed a miracle. He meticulously reassembled the body, stitching the flesh back together. Then, using sacred salts, oils, and resins, he began to wrap the body in long strips of fine linen. He was inventing, in that moment, the sacred art of mummification. This wasn't just crude preservation. It was a profound religious ritual. Every wrap was a prayer, every gesture a spell. By preserving the physical form, the Khat, Anubis ensured that Osiris's soul, his Ba and Ka, would have a home to return to. He created the first mummy, transforming a symbol of death into a vessel for eternal rebirth. He literally cheated death, snatching the king's soul back from the brink of oblivion. This single act established the blueprint for every pharaoh, queen, and noble who would ever hope to conquer death. The tomb paintings of the Valley of the Kings are filled with his image, the dark jackal-headed god leaning over the embalming table, tending to the deceased with the focused care of a master surgeon. The priests who performed the mummification rituals would often wear a mask of Anubis, believing they were channeling the god himself, imbuing their work with his divine power. They were known as the overseers of the mysteries, and Anubis was their patron. He was the god of those who prepared the dead for their final journey. So he is your guide. He is the master embalmer who has prepared your physical form for eternity. And now he has led you through the terrors of the do-it, your hand held in his, protecting you from the demons that lurk in the shadows. You now stand at the threshold of the Hall of Two Truths, the final courtroom. The air is thick with the scent of incense and the weight of eternity. Before you sit 42 divine assessors, a terrifying jury of gods, each one ready to pass judgment on a specific sin. And in the center of the room you see them, the golden scales, the single white feather, and standing beside them, the patient, silent form of a crocodile-lion-hippopotamus monster, her jaws open, waiting. The trial is about to begin. But before Anubis can weigh your heart, you must first speak. You must address the gods and declare your innocence. You must recite the 42 negative confessions, a litany of sins you swear you have never committed, and a single lie, a single moment of dishonesty in the face of absolute truth, will be your end. And so you stand, a shimmering spirit in the eternal twilight of the Hall of Two Truths. Before you, a daunting tribunal. 42 divine judges, terrifying and awesome, sit in a silent row. Each one has a name you must know, a sin they are here to condemn. One to judge theft, another to judge lies, a third to judge anger. They are the collected conscience of a nation, the divine embodiment of every law, every taboo, every quiet rule of decency that governed your life by the Nile. To your side, the ibis-headed Thoth, god of wisdom and writing, stands ready. His palette and reed pen are poised over a scroll, prepared to record every word, every truth, every fatal falsehood. And on a grand throne at the far end of the hall sits the great Osiris, wrapped in white linen, his green skin a symbol of rebirth, his gaze impassive. He is the final authority, the king of this silent, shadowy kingdom. But he is not the one you must face now. Your focus is drawn to the center of the hall. To him, Anubis. He is not seated on a throne. He does not hold a scepter of power. He stands, patient and alert, beside a magnificent golden scale. This is his domain. He is the master of this ceremony, the priest of this final sacrament. His jackal head is silhouetted against the ethereal light, his posture a perfect blend of coiled power and solemn duty. He is the guardian of the scales, the arbiter of the threshold. He is the one who will handle your very soul. You must begin. The silence in the hall is absolute, broken only by the sound of your own spectral voice. You must address each of the 42 gods by name and declare your innocence of the sin they oversee. This is not a confession of guilt, it is a declaration of purity, a protestation of innocence. You begin, your voice echoing in the vast chamber. Hail Useknemt, who comes forth from Anu, I have not committed sin. 1 down, 41 to go. Hail Fenty, who comes forth from Kemenu, I have not stolen. Hail Nehahau, who comes forth from Restau, I have not slain men and women. These are the easy ones, the great transgressions known to all cultures. But the confessions go deeper, probing into the very fabric of your character. into the quiet moments of your life that you thought no one ever saw. Hail Hechebeu, who comes forth from Tashi. I have not made anyone weep. Think about that. Not just I have not caused undue suffering, but I have not made anyone weep. A single moment of cruelty, a harsh word to a child, a betrayal of a friend that brought them to tears. All of it is weighed. The gods are not just concerned with your actions, but with the ripples of sorrow you may have caused. Hail Kurdi, who comes forth from Amentet. I have not been an eavesdropper. Your privacy was sacred in ancient Egypt, and to violate another's was a spiritual crime. Did you ever listen at a door? Did you ever pry into a secret that was not yours to know? The god Kurdi is listening now. The list goes on, a moral inventory of a lifetime. I have not been boastful. I have not been arrogant. I have not spoken deceitfully. I have not polluted the water. This last one is profound. To foul the Nile, the source of all life in Egypt, was a sin against the gods and against the entire community. It was an act of cosmic imbalance. The Egyptians understood thousands of years ago that to poison the earth was to poison oneself. You continue your recitation, your gaze sweeping across the faces of the divine jury. Some have the heads of crocodiles, some of serpents, some of hawks, some are hauntingly human. Hail Setkisu, who comes forth from Senu. I have not raised my voice in anger. Hail Neba, who comes forth from the cavern. I have not been deaf to the words of truth. This is a crucial one. It's not about hearing, it's about listening. Did you heed good counsel? Did you ignore the wisdom of your elders or the pleas of the needy? To be deaf to Ma'at, to truth and cosmic order, was a grave offense. You declare your innocence of economic sins. I have not tampered with the grain measure. I have not skimmed the land of others. I have not falsified the weights of the balance. In a society built on agriculture and trade, honesty in business was a sacred trust. To cheat your neighbor was to cheat the gods themselves. And you declare your innocence of religious sins. I have not blasphemed a god. I have not stolen offerings from the temples. I have not stolen the bread of the blessed dead. Finally, after what feels like an eternity, you reach the end. Your 42 declarations hang in the air, a testament to the life you claim to have lived, a fragile shield of words against eternal damnation. You have done your part. You have spoken your truth. But words are wind. The gods have heard your claims, but they require proof. Your heart, the seat of your intelligence, your memory, your conscience, your heart knows the truth, and it cannot lie. Now the true trial begins. The air grows cold. The silence deepens. Thoth, the scribe, looks up from his scroll, his bird-like eyes unreadable. Osiris shifts slightly on his throne, his attention now fully focused on the center of the room. A quiet signal is given, a nod of a head, a gesture unseen. It is time. Anubis moves. His steps are silent, graceful, deliberate. He approaches you, and for the first time you feel a tremor of real primal fear. This is the god who roamed the cemeteries, who watched over the embalmers, who guided souls through the darkness. He is the liminal deity, the one who exists between the world of the living and the world of the dead. He reaches towards your spiritual form, his hands not quite touching you, yet you feel a strange, weightless sensation in your chest. He is retrieving your heart, the IB, the vessel of your very being, which was carefully preserved in your mummified body for this exact moment. He holds it in his palm. It is not the bloody, physical organ, but its spiritual counterpart, glowing with a faint light, pulsing with the memories of your entire existence. Every choice, every secret, every love, every hate is contained within it. Anubis turns and walks back to the great golden scales. His movements are precise, like a surgeon or a priest performing the most sacred of rituals. On one side of the scale is a small, ornate pan, empty and waiting. On the other side is an identical pan, but it is not empty. It holds a single, perfect, white ostrich feather. This is the feather of Ma'at. It is the symbol of ultimate truth, of cosmic order, of harmony and of justice. It is impossibly light, yet it is the heaviest weight in the universe. It is the standard against which your entire life will be measured. Your heart, full of a lifetime of deeds, emotions, and complexities, will be weighed against this single, simple feather. To be judged worthy, your heart must be as light as this feather. It must be unburdened by the weight of sin, deceit, and evil. Anubis stands before the scales. He raises the hand holding your heart. The fate of your eternity, your chance at a paradise in the field of reeds or an agonizing end in the belly of a monster, rests on this single action. The 42 judges lean forward. Thoth grips his pen. The universe seems to hold its breath. With a slow, steady, and infinitely gentle motion, Anubis lowers your heart and places it onto the empty pan of the scale. A clink of gold on gold, a sound that echoes in the silent eternity of the Hall of Two Truths. The pan shudders for a fraction of a second, settling under the weight of your entire existence. Across from it, impossibly light, rests the single white feather of Ma'at, the embodiment of truth, of order, of cosmic justice. This is the moment, the fulcrum upon which your eternity pivots. Your heart, your IB, does not beat. It cannot. Yet you feel a phantom pulse hammering against your ribs, a memory of fear from the world of the living. The air here is thick, heavy with the prayers and pleas of a million souls who have stood where you stand now. You look at Anubis. His jackal face is a mask of perfect neutrality. His eyes, ancient and knowing, are fixed not on you, but on the delicate arm of the grand scale. He is not your friend, nor your enemy. He is a force of nature. He is the arbiter. His judgment will be as impartial as gravity. And then you feel a presence, a low guttural growl that seems to vibrate from the stone floor itself. To the side of the scale, a creature stirs. Ammit, the devourer of the dead, the abomination, a nightmare stitched together from the deadliest predators of your world. The head of a crocodile, lined with teeth like shards of obsidian. The front half of a lion, muscles coiled with terrible patient strength. The back half of a hippopotamus, a deceptively powerful anchor of brute force. Her eyes, yellow and reptilian, are locked onto the scale. She is not a judge. She is the sentence. She is the embodiment of cosmic failure. Oblivion given form. A low hiss of steam escapes her snout, and you realize she is hungry. She is always hungry. Anubis's voice cuts through your terror. Not loud, but with a resonance that commands the attention of your very soul. Speak, he commands. Address the assessors. Declare your innocence. This is the test. It is not enough for your heart to be weighed. You must defend it. You must give voice to your life's deeds. A final testimony before the gods. This is the negative confession. 42 declarations, one for each of the divine judges who line the hall, their spectral faces impassive, their forms shimmering in the torchlight. You must state the evil you have not done. Thoth, the ibis-headed god of wisdom and writing, dips his reed pen into a pot of ink that seems to be made from the night sky itself. He is the court reporter of the gods, and his record is final. Every word you speak will be inscribed into the eternal ledger. You take a breath you do not have, and your voice, a fragile thread in the tapestry of forever, begins to speak. I have not committed sin. The scale remains perfectly still. The feather does not tremble. You turn your attention to the first judge, a hawk-headed figure shrouded in shadow. I have not committed robbery with violence. Again the scale holds. Ammit lets out a frustrated grunt. You continue, your confidence growing with each true statement. I have not stolen. The pan holding your heart might have risen a fraction of an inch, a testament to a life of honest dealings. I have not slain men and women. A murmur goes through the assembled gods. A life without bloodshed is a life well lived. The feather seems to glow a little brighter. One by one you address the great sins, the ones that tear at the fabric of society. I have not been a man of deceit. I have not uttered lies. I have not laid waste to the plowed land. With each declaration you feel your essence, your BA, becoming more defined, more worthy. This is not a boast. It is a factual recitation of your character. In the afterlife there is no room for humility or pride, only for truth. But the confessions are not just about grand crimes. They are intimate. They probe the darkest corners of your character, the petty evils that fester in the human soul. You face a judge with the face of a serpent. I have not been an eavesdropper. You remember a time as a child, listening at your parents' door. Does that count? Your heart on the scale seems to grow heavier for a split second. The pan dips, a terrifying, minuscule movement. Ammit's head lifts. She licks her crocodile jaws. But the scale corrects itself. The intent, the malice was not there. The feather holds its ground. You exhale in relief. I have not been a man of anger, you declare. A flash of memory. A heated argument with a neighbor over a boundary stone. Shouted words. A clenched fist. The scale wobbles. Thoth's pen scratches furiously on his papyrus. You hold your breath, focusing on the truth. You were angry, yes, but you did not strike him. You sought peace the next day. The scale stabilizes. It is not the absence of emotion that is judged, but the mastery over it. The litany continues, a rhythmic accounting of your soul. I have not polluted the water. I have not been arrogant. I have not multiplied my words in speaking. I have not judged hastily. I have not made myself deaf to the words of truth. You are speaking of Ma'at. You are declaring your allegiance to the cosmic order that holds the stars in the sky and ensures the sun will rise. To live a life against Ma'at is to invite chaos, to weaken the very structure of the universe. This is why the judgment is so severe. Your individual actions have cosmic consequences. You are more than halfway through. The scale is almost perfectly balanced. So close. The field of reeds, the Egyptian paradise, feels almost within your grasp. A land of eternal sunshine, bountiful harvests, and reunion with loved ones. Everything you have ever hoped for. Then you face the 38th judge. His face is obscured, a shifting mask of fire and doubt, and the confession he demands freezes the words in your throat. I have not been guilty of impurity. Impurity, such a simple word, such a complex concept. It is not about cleanliness. It is about spiritual stain. A lie told not to save a life, but to save your own skin. A promise broken for personal gain. A moment of calculated cruelty, however small, that you thought no one saw. But the heart saw. The heart remembers everything. And in that moment of hesitation, a memory floods your consciousness. A moment from your life you had buried deep. A business dealing where you omitted a crucial detail, letting a rival take a fall that benefited you. It wasn't a direct lie you told yourself. It was just clever. A strategic silence. You profited. He suffered. You never spoke of it again, pushing it down into the recesses of your mind. But here in the Hall of Truth there are no recesses. There are no shadows to hide in. On the golden scale your heart pulses with a dark, heavy light. It remembers the guilt. It remembers the shame. And it suddenly feels impossibly heavy. The arm of the scale begins to move. Slowly, inexorably, the pan holding your heart begins to descend. The feather of Ma'at rises, its pristine white form seeming to recoil from the weight of your transgression. The delicate balance is broken. Thoth stops writing. His ibis head tilts, his divine eyes wide with concern. The 42 judges lean forward as one, a collective silent gasp rippling through the hall. Across the room, Ammit the Devourer rises to her feet. The sound of her claws scraping on the stone floor is like a death sentence. A thick, viscous saliva drips from her jaw and sizzles on the ground. Her yellow eyes are no longer patient. They are filled with a terrifying, ravenous glee. She has waited an eternity for this meal. Anubis does not move, but you see a change in his posture. His focus is absolute. This is the critical point. The moment where order collapses into chaos, where a soul is saved or unmade forever. The scale continues its descent. Down, down, down. Your heart, your life, your very being, is proving heavier than truth itself. For a single horrifying moment the scale tips, and the jaws of the devourer begin to open. But wait. A stillness descends upon the Hall of Two Truths. The monstrous jaw of Ammit, dripping with the spectral saliva of a billion devoured souls, freezes mid-snap. The 42 divine judges, who had leaned forward in anticipation, hold their collective breath. Even the great god Osiris, seated on his distant throne, seems to pause. For the judgment is not yet complete. The scales of justice are not merely a cosmic scale for sin. They are an instrument of truth, and the truth has not yet been fully spoken. Another figure steps from the ethereal shadows. He is ibis-headed, holding a scribe's palette and a reed pen. This is Thoth, the tongue of the Creator God, the Lord of divine words, the Master of knowledge, and the divine record-keeper. It is his duty not just to witness the weighing, but to record the entire proceeding. And no proceeding is complete without the final testimony of the accused. The process isn't just mechanical, it's judicial. You are not just a collection of deeds to be weighed. You are a consciousness, a voice, an individual with the right to speak in your own defense. Anubis, ever the calm guide, gives a subtle, almost imperceptible nod. His role is to bring you to this point to place your heart on the scale. But Thoth's role is to ensure your story is heard. He is the divine clerk of court, and court is now in session. This is your final chance. Your last appeal. It is the moment for what the Egyptians called the Declaration of Innocence, what we might call the negative confession. This wasn't a confession of sins you had committed. It was a powerful, magical, and legally binding declaration of the sins you had not. It was a final, desperate, and defiant plea to the universe itself. Imagine it, your final exam, and the subject is you. You must stand before the gods, look each of them in the eye, and address them by name, declaring your purity from the specific evil they represented. 42 gods, 42 declarations. To fail even one was to fail them all. Your spectral form, which had been trembling, finds a new strength. Anubis has guided you here, but now you must guide yourself. You must find your voice across the gulf of death. You turn to the first of the 42 judges, a figure wreathed in shadow and fire, and you speak the first declaration, your voice echoing in the silent hall. I have not committed sin. A subtle tremor runs through the golden scale. The pan holding your heart, which had plunged downwards, rises by a hair's breadth. You turn to the next god, a being with the head of a crocodile. I have not committed robbery with violence. Again the scale shifts. The pan rises just a little more. Ammit, the devourer, lets out a low, frustrated growl. The promise of her meal is slipping away. You continue, your voice gaining confidence with each declaration. You are not just reciting a memorized list from a papyrus scroll buried with your mummy. You are reaching into the very fabric of your life, pulling forth the threads of your character, and weaving them into a final, undeniable tapestry of your worth. I have not stolen. I have not slain men and women. I have not been deceitful. I have not uttered lies. Each denial is a weight lifted. Each truth spoken is a counterbalance against the subtle, accumulated gravity of human error. This is the genius of the Egyptian afterlife. They understood that a life is not defined solely by its heaviest mistakes, but also by the daily, consistent effort to live in accordance with Ma'at, with truth, order, and justice. They understood that goodness wasn't always about grand heroic acts. Sometimes it was about the evil you chose not to do, the lie you didn't tell, the shortcut you didn't take, the cruelty you refused to inflict. You look to a goddess with the face of a serpent. I have not been angry without just cause. You face a god cloaked in darkness. I have not been deaf to the words of truth. You address another. I have not polluted the water. This was not just about personal morality, it was about cosmic and social harmony. Polluting the Nile was a sin against the gods, and against the community that depended on it. Being deaf to the truth was a sin against wisdom itself. These weren't just rules, they were the pillars of their civilization, and you had to prove you had been a worthy brick in that great structure. Anubis watches this all, his jackal eyes unblinking. He is the master of ceremonies, the silent arbiter. He offers no encouragement, no condemnation. His presence is absolute, a fixed point of divine impartiality in this maelstrom of judgment. He is the personification of the process itself, solemn, serious, and utterly incorruptible. He doesn't care about your wealth, your status, your family name. He cares only for the integrity of the way in. Your words, your heart, the feather. Nothing else matters in his domain. As you continue your declarations, something incredible happens. You begin to relive the moments you speak of. When you say, I have not stolen, you feel the phantom weight of a merchant's coin you once considered pocketing, and the relief and rightness you felt when you chose not to. When you declare, I have not caused pain, you remember the face of a rival you could have ruined with a word, and the quiet strength you found in holding your tongue. Your life is no longer a blur of memory. It is a series of specific, concrete choices, each one now being laid bare before the gods. And with each memory, each spoken truth, your heart on the scale becomes lighter. The dark, heavy stains of regret, of minor transgressions, of moments of weakness, they are not being erased, but they are being put into context. They are being balanced by the vast, unenumerated ocean of moments where you chose correctly, where you chose kindness, where you chose truth. I have not made anyone weep. I have not been an eavesdropper. I have not been arrogant. I have not multiplied my words in speaking. Thoth's pen flies across his papyrus, a silent, scratching sound that is the only accompaniment to your voice. He is not merely taking notes. He is rewriting your reality, confirming your testimony as divine record. Your spoken words are becoming eternal fact. Finally, you reach the 42nd and final judge. You draw a deep, spectral breath and deliver the last declaration. I am pure. I am pure. I am pure. I am pure. Silence. The echo of your final word fades into the immense stillness of the hall. All eyes, divine, monstrous, and ancestral, are on the scale. The golden beam, which had been swaying violently, now slows. The pan holding your heart, once so heavy with the unexamined weight of a lifetime, has risen. It has lifted and lifted and lifted, until it hangs in perfect, exquisite equilibrium with a single white feather of Ma'at. Your heart is no heavier, and no lighter than truth itself. Ammit, the devourer, lets out a final mournful whine and rests her terrifying head back on her paws. Her meal has been denied. The jaws of oblivion which had been open for you now close. For you there will be no second death. There will be no unmaking. Thoth lifts his pen from the scroll. He turns to the great assembly and his voice, for the first time, rings out with the verdict. His heart has been weighed, and it is found true. There is no wickedness in him. A wave of relief so profound it almost dissolves your spiritual form washes over you. You have done it. You have faced the ultimate judgment and have been vindicated. Anubis, your silent, intimidating guide, now takes a step toward you. The moment of judgment is over. His task as the weigher of hearts is complete. He places a hand on your shoulder, not to restrain you but to guide you forward. You have passed the test of the scales. You have satisfied the 42 judges. You have proven your worth. But your journey through the Duat, the Egyptian underworld, is far from over. This was only the first gate, the most critical trial. Now you must be presented to the king of this entire realm. You must be brought before the throne of the Lord of the Dead himself, the green-skinned god of resurrection, Osiris. And it is Anubis, your guide, who will lead you into his presence. The air itself seems to change as you walk. The chaotic energy of the Duat, the swirling sands and shadowy figures, gives way to an unnerving, profound silence. Anubis's grip on your arm is no longer one of protection from external threats, but of solemn guidance, leading you toward your final judgment. You are walking down a long, impossibly vast corridor, the walls of which are covered in shimmering hieroglyphs that seem to writhe and pulse with a life of their own, telling stories of gods and mortals, of triumphs and failures. You step through a final, colossal doorway, and the sheer scale of the chamber before you steals the very breath from your spirit. This is the Hall of Ma'at, the Hall of Two Truths. It is a place of absolute balance and cosmic order. The ceiling is a perfect replica of the night sky, glittering with stars, yet there is no discernible source of light. The entire hall is bathed in an ethereal silver glow that seems to emanate from the very stone itself. And you are not alone. Lining the hall on both sides are 42 figures, seated in a long, imposing row. They are the assessors of Ma'at, divine judges, each one a terrifying fusion of human and animal form. A crocodile-headed god, a snake-headed goddess, a figure with the face of a hawk, another with the head of a ram. Each one represents a specific nome or province of Egypt, and more importantly, each one is the master of a specific sin. There is the eater of entrails, the swallower of shades, the breaker of bones. Their eyes, all 84 of them, are fixed on you. They are not merely looking at you. They are looking through you, scrutinizing every deed, every thought, every secret you ever held in your mortal life. You feel the weight of their collective gaze, a pressure that threatens to crush your very soul. You have to face them. You have to answer for your life. At the far end of the hall, upon a grand throne of polished obsidian and gold, sits the lord of this domain, Osiris. He is larger than life, a figure of immense power and quiet dignity. His skin is the color of new spring leaves, a symbol not of decay, but of rebirth and regeneration. He is wrapped tightly in the white linen of a mummy, his form bound, representing the potential for new life held within death. His hands emerge from the wrappings crossed over his chest, and in them he holds the iconic symbols of his kingship: the crook, to guide and protect his flock, and the flail, to punish the wicked and thresh the truth from the chaff. On his head sits the Atef crown, a tall white headdress flanked by two magnificent ostrich feathers, the very same feathers that represent Ma'at, the divine principle of truth and order. His face is serene, patient, but his eyes hold the wisdom of eternity. This is the god who was betrayed and murdered by his own brother, Set. The god who was dismembered and scattered across the land of Egypt. The god who was painstakingly reassembled and brought back from the dead by the powerful magic of his wife, Isis, and the funerary rites of his son Anubis. He has known the ultimate betrayal. He has experienced death in its most violent form. And because he conquered it, he now rules over it, offering the promise of resurrection to all who are worthy. He does not judge you with malice, but with the perfect, dispassionate understanding of one who knows the fragility of life and the finality of death. Standing beside Osiris are his two sisters, the goddesses Isis and Nephthys, their presence a comforting and powerful aura in the intimidating hall. And near the throne, holding a scribe's palette and a reed pen, is another of the great gods, Thoth, the ibis-headed god of wisdom, writing, and magic. His role is critical. He is the court clerk of the gods, the divine secretary. It is his duty to record with perfect accuracy every word spoken here, every action taken. His judgment is unimpeachable, his records eternal. Nothing escapes his notice. Anubis leads you to the center of the hall, positioning you directly before the throne of Osiris. The 42 assessors watch your every move. Thoth dips his pen, ready to write your fate. Osiris's gaze rests upon you. The silence is absolute. It is time. But before the final, definitive test can begin, you must first address the court. You must plead your own case. This is not a confession of your sins. It is the opposite. It is the declaration of innocence, what we now call the negative confessions. You must address each of the 42 divine judges by name and declare a specific sin that you have not committed. This is the ultimate moral test. It's not about asking for forgiveness. It's about stating before the gods that you lived a life worthy of eternity. Your voice, frail and trembling at first, begins to echo in the vast hall. You turn to the first assessor, Useknemt, the one who strides in fire, and you declare, "I have not committed sin." You turn to the next, Heptkaith, the embracer of flame, and say, "I have not committed robbery with violence. I have not stolen. I have not slain men and women. I have not stolen grain." The list goes on, a litany of morality that defined ancient Egyptian civilization. It's a fascinating window into what they valued most. It's not just about murder and theft. The confessions become incredibly specific, revealing a deep understanding of social harmony. I have not uttered lies. I have not been an eavesdropper. I have not made anyone weep. I have not been hot-tempered. I have not polluted the water. I have not been arrogant. I have not multiplied my words in speaking. I have not judged hastily. You are, in essence, reverse engineering your own character. You are defining yourself not by what you did, but by the evil you actively chose not to do. Each declaration is a stone laid in the foundation of your defense. You must be pure. You cannot lie, not here, not in the hall of two truths, before the God of wisdom and the King of the dead. To speak a falsehood here would be to condemn yourself instantly. The assessors would know. Thoth would record it. Osiris would see it. And Anubis, the master of secrets who guided you here, would surely smell the deceit on your soul. Finally, after addressing all 42 judges, after laying your entire moral life bare before the divine tribunal, you fall silent. Your case has been made. You have sworn your innocence. But in the Egyptian afterlife, words are not enough. A declaration is not proof. The gods require a more profound, a more certain, a more tangible measure of your worth. Your entire life, every choice, every moment of kindness, every flicker of malice, has left an indelible mark, not on your skin or in your memory, but on the very substance of your heart. And it is your heart that will now serve as the final witness. Anubis, who has been standing silently beside you this entire time, a calm and steady presence in this overwhelming place, now steps forward. His movements are deliberate, precise. He walks past you, toward the very center of the hall. There, waiting, is the instrument of your final judgment. A set of magnificent golden scales. The scales of justice. On one side of the scale is a small, empty pan gleaming, waiting. On the other side rests a single, pure white ostrich feather. It is the feather of the goddess Ma'at, the physical manifestation of truth, order, justice, and cosmic harmony. It is the standard against which all mortal souls are to be measured. It is weightless, yet it weighs more than the entire world. The hall is breathless. The The 42 assessors lean forward. Isis and Nephthys watch with solemnity. Thoth prepares his palette, ready to record the final irreversible verdict. Osiris, the great judge, looks on, his expression unchanging, for his judgment must be perfect. And now the moment has come. Anubis turns, his gaze fixed upon you. In one hand he holds the feather of truth, and with the other he reaches for your heart. The air grows still, the eternal silence of the Hall of Two Truths broken only by the sound of your own non-existent breath. There is no pain, no tearing of flesh. Anubis's touch is not physical but metaphysical. He doesn't cut you open, he simply reaches through you. You feel a sudden hollow lightness in your chest, a void where a lifetime of feeling once resided. He withdraws his hand, and there, cupped in his palm, is your heart. It is not the bloody anatomical organ you know from life. It is an ethereal vessel, glowing with a faint, inner light, pulsing with the memory of every beat it ever took. It is your IB, the seat of your intelligence, your emotion, your conscience, your very soul. Anubis moves with a grace that defies his imposing form. He approaches the magnificent golden scales that dominate the center of the hall. The craftsmanship is divine, the balance point a single sharpened obsidian edge. With the reverence of a priest placing a sacred offering on an altar, he sets your heart upon one of the golden pans. It settles with a soft, metaphysical chime that echoes in your consciousness. On the other pan, already waiting, is the single white ostrich feather of Ma'at. The feather of truth, pure, simple, and impossibly light. This is it, the ultimate test. Your entire existence, every choice, every word, every secret thought, weighed against a single feather. The scales hang perfectly still, a universe of potential held in a moment of perfect equilibrium. The 42 divine judges who line the hall lean forward in unison, their animal and human faces unreadable masks of divine impartiality. Osiris, enthroned at the far end of the hall, watches with the ancient, all-seeing eyes of the Underworld's king. His judgment is the final word, but the scales tell the story. And beside the throne of Osiris stands another figure, one whose role is just as critical. It is Thoth, the ibis-headed god of wisdom, writing, and knowledge. In his hands he holds a scribe's palette and a reed pen. He is the celestial court reporter, the keeper of eternal records. His gaze is fixed on the pointer of the scales, ready to inscribe your fate into the annals of eternity. There is no appeal. There is no retrial. What Thoth writes is final, but your attention is drawn to something else. Something lurking in the shadows just beside the scales. At first, you might mistake it for a trick of the light, a grotesque statue. But then it shifts its weight. A low guttural sound like stones grinding together rumbles from its chest. This is Ammit, the devourer of the dead, a nightmare chimera, a creature stitched together from the most fearsome predators the Egyptians knew. She has the head of a crocodile, lined with rows of teeth meant for shearing bone. The front half of her body is a lion, powerful and predatory. Her hindquarters are that of a hippopotamus, a creature known not for its gentle nature, but for its terrifying aggression and strength. Ammit is the embodiment of the second death, the ultimate annihilation. She is not a punisher, she is an end. She waits, her reptilian eyes gleaming with a patient, ravenous hunger. She is the consequence of a heavy heart. If your heart, weighed down by sin, deceit, and cruelty, should outweigh the feather of Ma'at, there is no fiery hell, no eternal damnation of torture. There is only her. She will lunge forward, her powerful jaws will snap shut, and your heart, your very soul will be devoured. You will cease to exist. Your name will be erased from memory, your journey will end, and you will be denied an afterlife, cast into the cosmic void of non-being forever. The fear this creature inspires is absolute. Now you are given a chance to speak. It is not a defense, not in the way we would understand it. You cannot argue your case or plead for mercy. You must instead recite the declarations of innocence, what modern Egyptologists often call the negative confession. You must address each of the 42 divine judges by name, and declare a sin you have not committed. This is your testimony, your final opportunity to align your soul with the principles of Ma'at, of order, truth, and righteousness. You begin to speak, your voice a spectral echo in the vast hall. I have not committed sin. I have not committed robbery with violence. I have not stolen. I have not slain men and women. I have not stolen grain. I have not purloined offerings. The list goes on, a litany of morality that governed Egyptian life. Each declaration is a careful statement of purity. I have not uttered lies. I have not carried away food. I have not uttered curses. I have not committed adultery. I have not made any to weep. I have not eaten the heart. That last one is peculiar, isn't it? I have not eaten the heart. It is a declaration that you have not used forbidden magic, that you have not consumed the life force of another. The confessions cover everything from grand theft and murder to the more subtle sins of the soul. I have not been an eavesdropper. I have not been a man of anger. I have not defiled the water. I have not been arrogant. I have not blasphemed a god. I have not acted with insolence. I have not sought to make myself distinguished. As you speak these words, you are judged not just on their truthfulness, but on the state of your heart as you say them. Because the heart remembers everything. It is the perfect witness. It cannot be fooled, it cannot be coached, and it cannot lie. While your mouth recites your innocence, your heart is on the scales, telling its own story. Did you truly never cause another person to weep? Your heart remembers the cruel joke you made at a friend's expense, the sharp words spoken in anger to a loved one. The scales tremble ever so slightly. Did you truly never utter a lie? Your heart remembers the small white lie to your boss, the convenient untruth to espouse, the grand deception to protect your own pride. Every falsehood, no matter how small, has weight. Were you truly not arrogant? Did you never look down on another? Never believe yourself superior? Your heart remembers the flash of contempt for the beggar on the street, the secret satisfaction you felt at a rival's failure. Every single moment of greed, of envy, of rage, of selfishness. It's all there. It's all recorded in the very fiber of your being, in the spiritual organ now sitting on a golden pan. But so too is every act of kindness. The time you helped a stranger without seeking reward. The moment you chose forgiveness over vengeance. The silent sacrifices you made for your family. The genuine compassion you felt for another's suffering. Every act of love, of generosity, of honesty, of courage. These too are in the heart. They are the counterweights. They are what makes the heart light. This is the genius and terror of the Egyptian afterlife. It is not about being a perfect saint. The gods know that mortals are flawed. It is about the balance. Did you live a life that was fundamentally good? Did your acts of virtue and righteousness outweigh your moments of weakness and sin? Was your soul, in its totality, aligned with the cosmic order of Ma'at? The final declaration leaves your lips. Silence descends once more upon the Hall of Two Truths. The only sound is the hungry breathing of Ammit. The only movement is the slow, deliberate creak of the golden scales as they begin to settle. The beam begins to tilt. Anubis watches, his jackal head cocked to one side, his focus absolute. Thoth raises his pen, ready to record the verdict. Osiris leans forward on his throne. Ammit tenses her powerful muscles, a low growl rumbling in her throat. Your entire existence, your hope for eternity in the field of reeds, hangs in this single terrifying motion. The pointer on the scales moves, inch by agonizing inch, toward its final position. Will your heart, heavy with regret, sink toward the floor, condemning you to the devourer? Or will it prove to be as light and as pure as the feather of truth, granting you eternal life? The scales sway and begin to decide. The pan holding your heart dips. Just a fraction of an inch, but in the silent eternal hall, the movement is a cataclysm. A collective silent gasp seems to emanate from the divine tribunal. Your non-existent lungs scream for air you can no longer breathe. This cannot be happening. You recited the negative confessions perfectly. You lived a good life, didn't you? The pan drops further, its descent slow, agonizing, a final damning verdict delivered in motion. The feather of Ma'at, the symbol of all that is right and true, rises mockingly on the other side. And then you see it stir. From the shadows beside the throne of Osiris, a creature of nightmare awakens. Ammit, the devourer of the dead, the eater of hearts. She is an abomination, a terrifying fusion of the three largest man-eating animals the Egyptians knew. Her head is that of a crocodile, a jaw filled with teeth designed to snap bone and tear flesh. Her front legs and torso are that of a lion, radiating pure predatory power. Her hindquarters are those of a hippopotamus, a beast whose deceptive bulk hides an aggressive territorial fury. She is the embodiment of divine retribution, a living engine of annihilation. She rises, her monstrous form casting a pall over the hall. Her yellow reptilian eyes fix on you, and in them you see no malice, no anger. Only a deep, insatiable hunger. This isn't personal. It is simply her function, her purpose. Thoth, the ibis-headed god of wisdom, makes a final sorrowful mark upon his scroll. He doesn't look at you. No one does. Your fate is sealed. Anubis, your guide, whose gentle hand once offered comfort, now stands aside. His duty is to the process, not to the individual soul. The judgment is absolute. Ammit pats forward, her heavy claws clicking on the stone floor. A sound like a deathwatch beetle counting down your final seconds. This is the end of everything. Not just life, but existence itself. The Egyptians didn't fear death in the way we do. To them, it was merely a transition, a doorway to another eternal life. Their greatest, most profound terror was this moment. The second death. To be consumed by Ammit was not to be sent to a fiery hell or a realm of punishment. It was to be erased. Utterly. Your name, your memory, your very essence, your Ba and your Ka would be unmade, annihilated, cast into the cosmic void from which they came. It would be as if you had never been born. All the love you gave, all the struggles you endured, all the monuments you built to your name, all would be rendered meaningless. Oblivion. The devourer opens her colossal jaws. You see the rows of dagger-like teeth, the dark, cavernous throat that leads to nothingness. And as she lunges, your journey, your story, your entire being ceases to be. But what if that isn't your story? Let's rewind that terrible moment. The scales hang in perfect, breathless equilibrium. The gods watch, their ancient faces unreadable. Anubis's hand is steady on the central post. Then, with a movement so slight it is almost imperceptible, the pan holding the feather of Ma'at begins to dip. Your heart, free from the burden of wickedness, of deceit, of heavy regret, begins to rise. It is lighter than the feather. It is pure. A wave of relief so profound it threatens to dissolve your spiritual form washes over you. You have been judged, and you have been found worthy. A smile, the first true smile in this daunting afterlife, touches the lips of Thoth. He makes a notation on his scroll, but this one is different. It is not a sentence, but an affirmation. He looks to the assembled gods and announces your name, declaring you Makeru, true of voice. Vindicated. The great god Osiris, king of the underworld, nods his solemn approval from his distant throne. And Ammit, the devourer, the beast of nightmares? She lays her monstrous head back down upon her paws with a disappointed sigh that echoes like grinding stones. She will not feast today. Your heart is not for her. Now the role of Anubis shifts once more. The somber, meticulous judge recedes, and the gentle guide returns. He turns to you, and though his jackal face is a mask of divine mystery, you feel a sense of pride emanating from him. He has successfully guided another soul past the most dangerous peril of the do-it. He gestures for you to follow, his hand indicating the path forward, a path that was barred to you only moments before. You walk past the scales of destiny, past the now slumbering devourer, and you feel the weight of mortality, of judgment, finally fall away. You are no longer a supplicant, a defendant pleading for your existence. You are an honored guest, an initiate about to be welcomed into a sacred club. The Hall of Two Truths, once a place of immense terror, now feels like a grand antechamber, a gateway to something glorious. Anubis leads you toward the great throne at the far end of the hall. The air grows thick with an ancient power, a sense of immense peace and profound authority. As you draw closer, you can see the details of the figure seated there. It is Osiris, Lord of the Dead, wrapped in the white linen of a mummy, his hands emerging from the wrappings to hold the crook and flail, symbols of kingship and the fertility of the land. His skin is the color of new vegetation, a symbol of rebirth and resurrection. At his side stand his wife, the powerful goddess Isis, and her sister, Nephthys, both offering their divine protection. This is the final step of your judgment. The scales have proven your moral worth, but now you must come face to face with the king of the realm you hope to enter. Anubis, your faithful guide who has been with you since you took your last breath, has brought you this far. He has protected you from demons, tested your heart, and now presents you, justified and true, to the ultimate authority. He bows his head before Osiris and formally announces your arrival. He speaks your name and your verdict, Makeru, true of voice. He has fulfilled his sacred duty. His part in your judgment is complete. Now he steps back, melting into the divine shadows, his silent presence a comforting reassurance. He has delivered you safely. The rest is up to you. You stand alone before the green-skinned God King of eternity. The 42 divine judges who witnessed your confession now look upon you with favor. The air hums with anticipation. You have passed the trial by fire, the weighing of your soul. You have earned your place. Osiris looks down at you, his gaze piercing not your heart, for that has already been tested, but the very core of your being. He is not here to question the verdict of the scales, but to welcome you personally into his eternal kingdom. He is about to grant you passage to the field of reeds, the Egyptian paradise. But first he has one final thing to say. Your final test of worthiness is not over. It has just taken a new form. You are brought before the throne of the King of the Dead himself, and he is about to speak. The figure on the throne is immense, wrapped in the white linens of mummification, his skin the color of life-giving silt and rebirth. He is Osiris, the first mummy, the once murdered king, now the eternal lord of the Duat. His hands, emerging from his wrappings, grip the crook and flail, symbols of kingship and the fertility of the land. On his head sits the Atef crown, a towering white cone flanked by 2 ostrich feathers, the very same feathers of Ma'at against which your heart was just weighed. He is still. He is silent. The air in the Hall of Two Truths is thick with the silence of ages, broken only by the frantic pounding in your own spiritual ears. Thoth, the ibis-headed god of wisdom, stands beside the throne, his palette and reed pen at the ready. Anubis is at your side, a comforting and yet terrifying presence. His hand rests on your shoulder, not to restrain you but to steady you. For this is the culmination of everything. The scales have rendered their mechanical, impartial verdict. Now you face the conscious, intelligent, and final judgment of the king. Slowly, the crowned head of Osiris inclines. His voice, when it comes, is not a sound that enters your ears, but a vibration that resonates in your very soul. It is the rustle of ancient papyrus, the whisper of wind through the reeds of the Nile, the groan of the earth itself. He speaks your name, a name you have not heard since you drew your last breath. And he says, "The scales have shown the weight of your heart. They have shown your potential for truth. But potential is not proof. Now you must give voice to the life you have lived. You must account for your deeds not to me, but to the guardians of the law." As he speaks, the hall seems to expand. Out of the shadows, 42 other divine figures emerge, taking their seats in a great jury. They are terrifying to behold. Some have the heads of crocodiles, of snakes, of hippos. Some are humanoid but cloaked in shadow and fire. These are the 42 assessors, the divine judges, each one the master of a specific type of sin. And you must face every single one of them. You must look into their unblinking, eternal eyes and declare your innocence. This is the test known as the negative confession. It is not enough that your heart is light. Your mouth must also speak the truth of that lightness. Anubis gives you a gentle push forward. You stand alone in the center of the hall. The first judge, a figure shrouded in flame, fixes its gaze upon you. You must speak. Your voice, thin and reedy at first, grows stronger as you begin the litany you have studied from the Book of the Dead, the words you have rehearsed for a lifetime. Hail Usek Nemt, who comes forth from Anu, I have not committed sin. The words hang in the air, tested for their truth. The fiery god gives a slow, solemn nod. You turn to the next, a crocodile-headed deity. Hail Heptkaith, who comes forth from Kuraha, I have not committed robbery with violence. Another nod. You move to the next, and the next, a litany of purity, a declaration of a life lived in balance. I have not stolen. I have not slain men and women. I have not made my grain measure small. The confessions become more intimate, more personal, digging deeper than mere actions. They are about the intent of the heart, the very things the scales have just weighed. I have not uttered lies. I have not carried away food. I have not been an eavesdropper. I have not made anyone weep. I have not been hot-tempered. I have not polluted the water. I have not spoken with arrogance. I have not multiplied my words in speaking. My voice has not been loud. With each declaration, you feel the weight of that potential sin lifting from your soul. You are not just saying what you didn't do. You are affirming the person you chose to be. This is the true test. Anyone can have a moment of weakness, a flicker of greed or anger. But what was the sum of your life? Did you live with the intention of harmony? Did you strive to leave the world in balance, just as you found it? Each of the 42 judges listens, their ancient minds sifting through every memory, every thought, every secret you ever held. One lie, one moment of false bravado, and they would know. The entire process would halt. Ammit, the beast patiently waiting by the scales, would lift her monstrous head. But your heart was true. And so your words are true. You complete the 40-second confession, your spirit feeling lighter than it ever has before. You have accounted for your life. You have been judged by the gods. The assessors fade back into the shadows, their duty done. Now all eyes turn to Thoth. The scribe of the gods steps forward, unrolling a long sheet of papyrus. On it, he has meticulously recorded the result from the scales and has noted the truthfulness of your every confession. He approaches the throne of Osiris and presents the record to the king of the dead. Osiris looks upon the scroll, his gaze lingering for an eternity. The silence returns, heavier than before. This is it, the final moment. Osiris raises his head and looks directly at you. His voice once more fills the hall, no longer a question but a declaration. A divine pronouncement that will echo for the rest of eternity. You are vindicated, he booms. Your words are true as your heart is true. You are Makeru. Maker, the words wash over you, a wave of pure relief and ecstasy. It means true of voice, but it is so much more than that. It is the ultimate stamp of approval from the cosmos itself. It means you have been justified. Your life has been affirmed as one lived in accordance with Ma'at, with truth, order, and cosmic balance. It is a title of honor, a state of being. To be Makeru is to become an ascended spirit, a being whose words now have power. What you say is, you are no longer just a mortal soul. You are a perfected spirit, worthy of eternity. At this pronouncement, a figure steps forward. It is Horus, the falcon-headed son of Osiris, the rightful heir and king of the living. He extends a hand to you. As you take it, the cold, silent, intimidating hall of two truths begins to dissolve around you. The stone walls melt away, replaced by a brilliant, warm light. The oppressive silence is replaced by the sound of a gentle breeze, birdsong, and distant, happy laughter. Horus leads you from the judgment hall, the last vestige of the terrifying underworld, and out into the paradise you have earned. You have arrived in the field of reeds, the Aru. It is Egypt but perfected. It is the home you remember, but washed clean of all sorrow and toil. The sun here is warmer, the sky a more brilliant blue. The Nile flows not with muddy water, but with pure, clear light. The fields of barley and emmer wheat stand 12 feet tall, a symbol of impossible, eternal abundance. You see familiar faces here. Your mother, your father, your spouse, your children who passed before you. They are all here, not as aged or sick as you remember them, but in the prime of their lives, healthy, smiling, and running to greet you. There is no pain here, no hunger, no disease, no sadness. You can fish in the eternal river, feast at banquets with the gods, and live in a perfect reflection of the world you loved, forever. And as you are embraced by your long-lost family, you turn back one last time. At the gateway between the world of judgment and the world of paradise stands Anubis, your guide, your protector. His duty to you is now complete. He does not enter the field of reeds. His place is in the darkness on the threshold, guiding the lost and weighing the hearts. He gives you a final solemn nod, a gesture of farewell from the God who walked with you through the valley of death. Then he turns, his silhouette melting back into the shadows of the Duat. He has another soul to guide. His work is never done. You have made it. You are safe. You are home. An eternity of peace and joy stretches out before you. But for every soul that is justified, another falters. For every heart as light as a feather, another is heavy with regret. And Ammit, the devourer, is always, always hungry. The scales tip, not with a crash but with a slow, dreadful certainty. The heart, heavy with theft, with lies, with cruelty, sinks. The feather of Ma'at, the symbol of all that is right and true, rises into the air, light and unburdened. A silence falls over the hall of two truths. The 42 divine assessors, who have listened to your pleas, offer no comfort. Thoth, the scribe of the gods, dips his reed pen in ink, and with a flick of his wrist, records the final damning verdict. Your gaze darts to Anubis. His jackal face, which had seemed so calm, so reassuring just moments before, is now an unreadable mask of divine law. There is no anger in his eyes, no malice, only the cold, hard finality of a cosmic truth. He has done his duty. He has weighed your soul, and it has been found wanting. He gives a slow, almost imperceptible nod, not to you, but to the creature that has been waiting patiently at the foot of the scales. Ammit, the devourer of the dead, part crocodile, part lion, part hippopotamus. A terrifying fusion of the most feared creatures of the Nile. She lifts her massive head. Her eyes, ancient and hungry, lock onto yours. This is not a punishment in the way we might think of it. This is not a hell of fire and brimstone where you suffer for your sins. It is something far, far worse. It is oblivion. When Ammit devours your heart, she devours your soul. Your essence. Your name, your memory, your very existence is unmade. You do not go to a realm of torment. You simply cease to be. It is the second death, the one from which there is no return, no rebirth, no hope of eternity. To the Egyptians who dedicated their entire lives to building a legacy that would echo forever, this was the ultimate horror. To be erased from the tapestry of the cosmos as if you had never been. Faced with this terrifying finality, this absolute end, what would you do? How would a civilization live under the shadow of such a high-stakes judgment? Would you fall into despair? Or would you do what humans have always done when faced with an insurmountable challenge? You would find a way to game the system. The ancient Egyptians were nothing if not pragmatic. They looked at the perilous journey through the underworld and the final judgment not as a matter of luck, but as a test that one could and must prepare for. And their ultimate study guide, their divine cheat sheet, was the Book of the Dead. We hear that name and picture a single ominous tome, but it wasn't a book in our sense. It was a collection of spells, hymns, and instructions, customized for the deceased and written on a papyrus scroll placed in their tomb. It was a roadmap, a magical GPS for the soul. It contained spells to navigate the dark lakes of fire in the underworld, to name the secret names of the gatekeepers, and to placate the various gods and demons one might encounter. It was the soul's secret weapon. Perhaps the most crucial part of this preparation was spell 125, the negative confession. Standing before Osiris and the 42 assessors, the soul wasn't just asked if it had sinned. It was expected to make a powerful, proactive declaration of its own purity. The soul would address each of the 42 judges by name and declare a sin they had not committed. I have not committed robbery with violence. I have not stolen. I have not killed men and women. I have not been deceitful. I have not been an eavesdropper. I have not been angry without just cause. The list goes on, covering everything from blasphemy and arrogance to polluting the water and mistreating cattle. It's a remarkable moral and ethical code, a blueprint for a just life. By reciting these confessions, the soul was not just hoping for the best. It was presenting a legal argument for its own salvation. It was demonstrating its intimate knowledge of Ma'at, of cosmic order. But the Egyptians knew that human nature is frail. What if, despite your best efforts, your heart remembered a moment of weakness? A lie told in haste, an act of selfishness? The heart, the seat of intelligence and memory, could betray you on the scales. It could speak out and confess your transgressions. So they developed an insurance policy, a piece of brilliant magical technology called the heart scarab. This was an amulet, often carved from green stone, shaped like a scarab beetle, the symbol of rebirth. It was placed over the mummy's heart, wrapped within the linen bandages, and carved onto its surface was a very specific spell from the Book of the Dead, spell 30b. It was a direct appeal, an injunction addressed to the deceased's own heart. It reads in part, "O my heart, do not stand up as a witness against me, do not oppose me in the tribunal, do not be hostile to me in the presence of the keeper of the balance, do not tell lies against me in the presence of the God." Think about that. It is an incantation designed to silence the key witness for the prosecution, your own conscience. It's a desperate, ingenious attempt to ensure that on the day of judgment, only your best self is presented. It wasn't about tricking the gods, they knew everything. It was about ritually purifying the soul and preventing the heart's own weakness from condemning it to oblivion. This entire complex system of spells, confessions, and amulets reveals the true Egyptian mindset. The afterlife wasn't a passive reward. It was an active pursuit. Salvation had to be earned both in life and in death. and Anubis stood at the very center of this sacred cosmic bureaucracy. He wasn't a figure to be tricked or fooled. The spells weren't meant to pull the wool over his eyes. He was the incorruptible administrator of the process. The magic was intended to prepare the soul to face him, to present itself in the best possible light, to ensure it met the divine standard. Anubis wasn't the obstacle, he was the test itself. He was the embodiment of the system that every Egyptian, from the mightiest pharaoh to the humblest farmer, had to navigate. Their entire world was built around this moment. They lived their lives according to the principles of Ma'at, not just because it was the right thing to do, but because they knew their actions were being recorded for a final terrifying audit. They built magnificent tombs not out of vanity, but as eternal staging grounds for this journey. They perfected mummification not from a morbid obsession with the dead, but to preserve the body as a vessel for the soul to use in the field of reeds. Every law, every temple, every word of wisdom was a preparation. Life on the banks of the Nile was merely a prelude, a short, fleeting introduction to the real story. The story that began when you took your last breath and found yourself in a silent, starlit corridor, walking towards a distant light, where a calm, watchful god with the head of a jackal waited to weigh your heart. Anubis was not just a god of death. He was the ultimate reason for the Egyptian way of life. He was the silent judge who gave meaning to every sunrise, every harvest, and every moral choice, reminding them that eternity was not a gift, but a verdict. And for millennia, that verdict was the engine of Egyptian civilization. It was the reason they built pyramids that scraped the heavens and tombs that burrowed into the bedrock of the earth. It was why they perfected mummification, turning the mortal body into an eternal vessel, and why they covered temple walls with spells and guides for the treacherous journey through the Duat. Every action was a preparation. Every choice was a weight added to or taken from the heart. The entire culture was a grand, elaborate strategy to face one single moment, the moment they would stand before the silent, watchful gaze of the jackal god. But even gods can fade when the world that believes in them changes. The river of time, which the Egyptians saw as a cyclical eternal flow, was about to be met by a tidal wave of new ideas, new empires, and new gods. First came the Greeks with their own vibrant pantheon. They saw Anubis and, in their way, tried to understand him, merging him with their own messenger god, Hermes, to create the hybrid deity Hermanubis. But this was a shadow, a reflection. The core essence of Anubis, the uniquely Egyptian arbiter of Ma'at, was already beginning to dilute. Then came the Romans, who saw Egypt as a breadbasket for their empire, its ancient religion a curiosity, a piece of exotic culture to be observed, but not truly lived. The old ways persisted, but they were no longer the center of the universe. The final, decisive shift arrived with a new faith spreading like wildfire from the Middle East: Christianity. This new religion offered a different path, a different afterlife. It spoke of a single all-powerful God, of a savior, and of a judgment based on faith and repentance. The complex, ritualistic journey through the Duat, with its gatekeepers and demons and magical spells, was replaced by a simpler, more absolute duality: heaven or hell. Suddenly, Anubis's role became redundant. He was no longer the necessary guide, the indispensable judge. The intricate cosmology he presided over was deemed paganism. The temples grew quiet. The ancient rites were forgotten. The priests who knew the sacred words vanished. For centuries, the god who had opened the way for millions of souls was himself lost to the world. He was buried, not in a tomb of gold, but under the shifting sands of memory and the rubble of new beliefs. The jackal god of the necropolis became a silent resident of the city of the dead. He once ruled. His name a whisper, then a mere echo, then nothing at all. And for nearly 2,000 years, that's where he remained. A forgotten deity in a forgotten language, a cryptic shape carved on crumbling walls. The world moved on. Empires rose and fell. Humanity discovered new continents, new sciences, and new ways to contemplate its own mortality. The god who weighed the heart was a ghost. But the past is never truly dead, just sleeps. In the 19th and 20th centuries, a new kind of explorer came to Egypt. Not conquerors but archaeologists. Armed with brushes and shovels instead of swords, they began to peel back the layers of sand and time. They deciphered the hieroglyphs, unlocked the secrets of the pyramids, and ventured into the tombs that had been sealed for millennia. And there, waiting in the darkness, they found him. He was everywhere. Painted on the walls of burial chambers, carved onto sarcophagi, standing as a sentinel statue guarding treasure. The most famous rediscovery came in 1922, with Howard Carter's unsealing of Tutankhamun's tomb. One of the most breathtaking artifacts within was a statue of Anubis in his full jackal form, perched atop a gilded chest, his golden eyes staring out from the darkness, a guardian of the boy king's eternal rest. The world was captivated. Anubis was reborn, not as a god to be worshipped, but as a global icon of ancient mystery. His image spread across the world, becoming one of the most recognizable symbols of ancient Egypt. He became a star of modern mythology. In movies, he is the dark, imposing presence, the embodiment of ancient curses and formidable power. In video games, he is a powerful boss to be defeated or a divine character to be played. His skills link to death, souls, and the underworld. In books and comics, he is the wise, often cynical observer of human folly, a timeless being who has seen it all. But why? Why does this particular god resonate so deeply with us, thousands of years after his last temple fell silent? Perhaps it's his silence. Unlike the boisterous, squabbling gods of Olympus or the wrathful deities of other pantheons, Anubis is defined by his quiet authority. He doesn't make speeches. He doesn't rage or boast. He simply watches and he weighs. He embodies a profound, impartial justice that we find both terrifying and deeply appealing. He is the ultimate authority figure who cannot be bribed, tricked, or reasoned with. He is interested in only one thing: the truth of your heart. And this is his true, enduring legacy. We may no longer believe that a jackal-headed god will literally weigh our physical heart against a feather. But the core concept, the metaphor at the center of his mythology, is an idea so powerful it has never left us. It has woven itself into the fabric of human consciousness. Every time we talk about a heavy conscience or a heart full of regret, we are unknowingly speaking the language of Anubis. Every time we see the scales of justice outside a courthouse, we are seeing a secular echo of the Hall of Two Truths. The ancient Egyptians believed that living a good life, a life of ma'at, of truth, order, and balance, was not just a moral suggestion. It was a practical necessity for the afterlife. Your character was your currency. Your integrity was your passport to eternity. They believed that your actions, your words, your secret thoughts, all had a tangible weight. They accumulated over a lifetime, making your heart either as light as a feather or as heavy as a stone. This wasn't about divine reward or punishment in the way we often think of it. It was about cosmic physics. A heavy, unbalanced heart was simply unfit for the paradise of the field of reeds. It would drag you down into the darkness, to be devoured by Ammit, the soul eater, to be forgotten, the ultimate annihilation. In our modern, fast-paced, often chaotic world, it's easy to feel that our actions are fleeting and inconsequential. We can feel anonymous, our choices lost in the noise of billions. But the myth of Anubis serves as a timeless, powerful counter-narrative. It is a story that whispers across the ages, reminding us that nothing is forgotten, that character matters, that the sum of our choices creates a weight, a substance that defines who we are. The Egyptians built monuments of stone to last for eternity, but their greatest, most enduring creation was this idea: that the final measure of a human life is not the gold in your tomb or the power you wielded, but the lightness of your heart. It's a concept that transcends any single religion or culture, speaking to a fundamental human yearning for a just and meaningful universe. So while the jackal god may no longer stand in the halls of the underworld, the scales he held are still here. They exist within us, in our conscience, in the legacy we leave behind, and in the quiet moments when we ask ourselves if we are living a life of truth. The question Anubis posed to every soul who entered his hall remains the most important question we can ever ask ourselves. If your heart were placed on the scales today, against the feather of truth, which way would they tip?